You're watching UnrealEntGaming. This is Gohan from Dragon Ball Z. You want to see me turn Super Saiyan? Or should I take it to the next level? I'm also the narrator, too. Next time on Dragon Ball Z, make sure and smash subscribe to UnrealEntGaming.
With Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter number 60 looming over the horizon, the stage is now set for full-powered Moro to battle against Ultra Instinct Sign Goku, all after having to come to the realization that Goku needed to maintain the absolute utmost he could with his stamina to allow his Ultra Instinct powers to gain leverage over the Planet Eater Moro. All while on planet Yardrat, Vegeta seems to also pick up on the fact that he knows that Goku and Moro are waging battle on Earth, but the question that many fans within the Dragon Ball community are asking is what exactly is going to be Vegeta's position once he ends up arriving on Earth, and what exactly is going to be the status of Goku once Vegeta inevitably makes his way back to Earth, in the fact that up until this point Moro was shown and proven to fight Ultra Instinct Goku to a stalemate, but even long after Vegeta completes his training and comes back to Earth, the question lingers, by that time are we possibly going to see Goku master Ultra Instinct? Is Goku going to be defeated, and what exactly can Vegeta do to provide aid and support in this battle, in potentially being the character that gets the victory here by the end? As once more before we begin, if you are new to the channel and have a love and passion for all things Dragon Ball and anime related, then I do encourage you guys to smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications to never miss a single video, as well as giving this video a big thumbs up by slapping that like button down below if you guys are simply stoked, ready, and excited to see what's going to come from the battle involving Goku and Moro, because surely the battle involving Goku and Moro is going to transition itself into Vegeta stepping in, and once Vegeta ends up stepping in, the question is, if Moro proves to be superior than Ultra Instinct Sign, then if Vegeta is able to topple Moro, who's stronger than Ultra Instinct Sign, would that only imply right then and there that Vegeta, in some way, shape, or form, is potentially as strong or stronger than Ultra Instinct Omen? Now, it's interesting to know that Vegeta is on planet Yardrat right now, as he's trying to learn of a specific technique and or ability that is going to grant him immunity and give him the upper hand against Moro. But even all the while, if Vegeta ends up fighting Moro, there is that chance that Vegeta, just like Goku, can end up losing if something goes wrong, as I do believe one of the absolute best course of actions going into this fight would be to see Vegeta at his absolute prime teaming up with mastered Ultra Instinct Goku, just as you guys have seen in the thumbnail that I've created, to battle against Moro together. I think that when looking at the overall pragmatics of what this is and Moro's true intention and depth of power, I think that both Goku and Vegeta cannot possibly afford to allow Moro to get any stronger, and I think that one of the absolute best course of actions would be is to see Ultra Instinct mastered Ultra Instinct Goku in some way team up with Vegeta, who I think would be at a much superior level when it comes down to perfecting his spirit and utilizing different techniques to battle against Moro. As joining me here today to further discuss the subject of Vegeta's role in the upcoming Dragon Ball Super manga chapters is my good friend and Dragon Ball YouTuber Emosh. Now Emosh, we talked about this off camera. We actually did a live stream on your channel talking about the overall chapter. Now, it's very interesting to me to see the way they've portrayed Moro in the manga. He doesn't seem to be invincible, because with Goku having to use his full power in basically sacrificing stamina to get the better of Moro, it was proven that Goku did have the upper hand against him. But given the fact that Moro now is a lot stronger by powering up and showcasing his real power to Goku, it's only a matter of time before something happens to Goku to where either A, he runs out of stamina, or B, Moro just beats him down. But what I wanted to ask you is, when Vegeta ends up arriving and he gets to Earth, how do you think Vegeta is going to fare up when compared to Ultra Instinct Goku, given the fact that we've seen in the Tournament of Power how effective Ultra Instinct was against Jiren? So with Vegeta now having to be inserted whenever that may be, what are your overall thoughts as to how he may perform, and how different do you think he's going to be when compared to seeing what Ultra Instinct Goku did against Moro in this fight?
Since Goku came back to Earth, and met Moro and actually resorted to using Ultra Instinct against Saganbo, I had an immediate issue with that. Moro from then on was completely in charge, right? And we see that in chapter 59 as well. So it wasn't difficult to assess that, well, you know, this form itself, it requires a lot of stamina. It's not something that Goku has. Just because he can do it at will doesn't necessarily mean that he can do it comfortably. And what I mean by that is that, yes, he can actually tap into that state, but his ability to maintain it is really limited. And it kind of reminds you of Resurrection FF, except in an ROF, Frieza came in with his golden form and he thought that was it. I think the difference here is that, again, chapter 59 kind of indicates this as well, that Goku is going to purposely push himself to the edge, right? As long as he can just keep dodging the energy absorption, as long as Moro doesn't really resort to using that technique anymore, because he has no point. There's no real point for him to utilize that technique anymore. We've seen him, grab Goku from behind with very little difficulty whatsoever. So with that in mind, you really have to ask yourself, well, okay, Goku has access to Ultra Instinct the same way Frieza had access to his golden form, except Goku knows and has experienced MUI, or the true Ultra Instinct form before, right? So because of that, you have to assume, okay, well, it's safe to say that he's betting on that. He's betting on being pushed to his absolute limit again, so that way he can tap into that power. Whether or not we'll see it, I don't think it matters, because at that point, I just don't think Goku's gonna be able to retain that power enough, or for X amount of time, to be able to defeat Moro once and for all. Now, for Vegeta, it's as simple as just looking at Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super's character progression in terms of power levels, right? In terms of power scaling. Well, can we agree that Goten right now can absolutely decimate Frieza from Namek? Well, yeah, for sure, right? And at that point, you compare Super Saiyan Goten to Super Saiyan Goku from Namek. It's no question Goten will slap the crap out of him, right? You look at in the anime, Kefla was fighting Ultra Instinct Omen Goku with not much difficulty. The only thing she couldn't do was land an actual hit on him. And had she landed some hits on him, he would have been down for the count for sure. So it's the same kind of, thing here. Vegeta can still be as strong, if not stronger than Goku, but still have access to more things that will allow him to be more effective against Moro. Spirit control, for example. He won't have to rely on constantly dodging Moro's energy absorption, let alone his attacks. If he could just completely negate or nullify Moro's ability to absorb his chi, so that it renders that technique useless. And again, the writing's on the wall. The fact that Moro powers up now, don't really know if he's at full power, because villains and even Goku, for example, they have a habit of powering up, but they're not like going all out yet, right? I think Moro's just absolutely flexing on Goku. But again, Vegeta's training. It wouldn't be a surprise for Vegeta to come in and be stronger than Omen Goku, and have access to more techniques that just make him more effective against Moro. The writing's on the wall. That's just how it's been. Just because you have access to this godly technique, or the gateway to the godly technique, doesn't mean that beings who don't have access of that form, or have the ability to utilize that form, cannot fight you. Moro's a good example of that. All Moro does is absorb chi, and here he is smacking Omen Goku. And knowing of the technique is not the same as experiencing it, right? In the beginning of the chapter, it's assumed, now we can actually assume that, it's safe to say that Moro knows of Ultra Instinct, right? But he's never experienced it, because literally the panels after he talks about that, he's beginning to realize, okay, this technique, gives him access to heightened agility. Oh, he can dodge. Oh, he can do this. He can do that, right? So he counters it with techniques of his own. It just makes him effective against Ultra Instinct Omen Goku, not Ultra Instinct itself. For example, let's say if he fought a Beerus, would the fight end up the same way? Probably not, because Beerus and Goku are different fighters. They're different characters entirely, right? So I think people kind of have to remember that since the beginning of whenever, people have trained, characters have trained, and they've reached new heights without having to have access to specific forms. It's really that simple. It's not rocket science, right? Vegeta comes in, he performs better than Goku. It's not rocket science. Goku comes into a form that he knows is high stamina draining, right? And he tries to end it quickly, and that's uncharacteristic of Goku, which is why I felt like Moro was in charge of this fight since chapter 58, forcing Goku to utilize a technique that he kind of was saving just to fight Moro, but he busts it out right away, and he tries to end the fight right away. Yeah, at that point it puts Moro in the driver's seat completely. So again, if Vegeta comes down to Earth and he hammers Moro. Moro's at X, he's powered up. Of course Vegeta's going to be able to fight him. Will Vegeta be able to defeat him? Don't know. I'm more of a fan of teamwork. I would prefer that they utilize Goku and Vegeta's teamwork, and then maybe the Daikao kind of gets his powers back, right? They meet up with Uber, something like that. They remember Uber, something like that. And Goku and Vegeta have to work together to pin or hold Moro down in some way, and the Daikao seals off his technique, and they kill him off. I don't think Moro needs to be locked up in the galactic prison again. I think this is a being that you have to completely kill off because he's an imminent threat to existence itself, and arguably the universe, if anything. But yeah, Vegeta comes in, he performs better than Goku. It would not be a surprise because of literally everything that's happened prior to it.
I definitely agree in a sense to where Moro needs to be killed because you can't keep someone like this around. I mean, it's different than Frieza, it's different than anyone else. It's like keeping around Kid Buu with intelligence. Imagine Kid Buu had intelligence, right? Like cognitive awareness. That's what Moro, I think, represents in the fact that he hates peace, he hates the concept of life, and he's here, right? So I definitely agree that they need to put him down for good versus having to lock him away. But what if there's a situation presented to where Goku somehow taps into Mastered Ultra Instinct and in some way, shape, or form, it really doesn't do the job in serving its purpose in putting down Moro, but more or less is kind of like a placeholder per se? Like, would you agree in seeing MUI to that extent, or do you think that in this fight, it's definitely required for them to use the essence of teamwork to get the job done, because you simply can't get by yourself, and we've seen that with, like you've said before, several enemies in the show, which is why I do believe that they need to work together collectively to really put Moro down for good. But my question is, do you think their individualistic fighting approaches are going to be different in a sense to where MUI is going to fight differently than Vegeta, who has now perfected his spirit control in a sense to where he has many abilities and many techniques that he could use? Or do you think more or less they're kind of gonna operate the same, and through that collective effort of having to use teamwork, there's going to be sort of like a different outcome?
If Goku taps into MUI for like a split second, but then he just runs out of steam, that's fine. It would not affect, in my opinion, it wouldn't affect the quality of the chapter, the quality of the fight, or the form itself. It would not devalue the form itself. Again, people look at this and they say, this is like the ultimate form, it's the ultimate technique, it's supposed to make you invincible. Well, then what's the point of fighting, right? Let's say you put UI Goku against Beerus, who utilizes the same thing, like we saw in the this exhibition match in the manga, right? They're two totally different fighters, they're two totally different characters. Does that mean they would fight the same exact way every single time? No, absolutely not. Because again, they're two different beings, they're two different characters. You can't just make everything just one way every single time. Super Saiyan Goku is not the same as Super Saiyan Vegeta, for example. Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta is not the same as Super Saiyan Blue Goku, for example. The form itself, or the technique, it's in my opinion, it's reliant and dependent on the person wielding it or utilizing it, right? Like if you gave Kaioken to Vegeta, what else would that do? Would it make Vegeta fight the same way as Goku? Absolutely not, right? Because it's Vegeta. They're two totally different beings. Same thing with Super Saiyan God. Goku got it via the ritual. Vegeta trained for it, right? They obtained these powers differently, and we actually didn't see God for a while. Actually, from Vegeta, we saw it a few times in the manga, and we never saw it in the anime. But we know that he has it because he has access to Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, or Super Saiyan Blue, and they both mastered Super Saiyan Blue. Right? Their own way, by the way. Like, Goku did it. He realized that they did it while they were fused as Vegeta against the fight against MERUS in the manga. And Vegeta does it his own way. He's been doing everything his own way. Goku's been doing everything his own way. Right? I would argue Goku's method of training is better. It always has been, because again, he's put himself in the position of being inferior, right? He's always had masters, even though he's stronger than the masters that have trained him, generally for the most part, except for WHIS, for the most part, he's gone that far to kind of give himself a bigger arsenal. That's where Vegeta has it, and this is the first time we're seeing that. So no, it wouldn't devalue the form at all, because it's still Goku at the end of the day. It wouldn't devalue the form for Vegeta. If Vegeta came in and he didn't have access to Ultra Instinct, but he's still performing better than Ultra Instinct Dome and Goku, it wouldn't devalue Ultra Instinct at all. I think, again, people are just foaming at the mouth over absolutely nothing because they think about gods of destruction, but we really haven't seen what gods of destruction can do. I think if you were to, best example, and I'll wrap up my answer by saying this. MERUS using Ultra Instinct, that technique, is not the same as Beerus using it. Can we agree on that? Because not only is MERUS a master of it, arguably, familiar with it, arguably, same thing with WHIS, they're substantially stronger, right? So they both have access to the same technique. Beerus is obviously limited, but let's just speculate. Let's just create a scenario as to where Beerus mastered it as well. Would he be WHIS level? Would he be MERUS level? Absolutely not. So the same methodology kind of applies to Goku here. Just because Goku has access to the technique doesn't mean he can be definitively stronger than Beerus, unless it's stated definitively, like it's grandstanded as a fact, a factual statement, or unless we see them fight again. It's case closed at that point. I don't think none of this devalues the form itself. I just think people are kind of, you know, it's like they want Goku to get the technique. They want Vegeta to get the technique, or they want Vegeta to be equal to Goku. But then Goku gets Ultra Instinct, and then Vegeta doesn't get Ultra Instinct. People are upset. Vegeta doesn't get Ultra Instinct, but he's stronger than Ultra Instinct Omen Goku. People are upset because Ultra Instinct is supposed to be the state of the gods. It's like, where do you go from there, right? So we've seen beings so far, if people can accept, based on what Moro's self-proclamation is, of him transcending the gods, if people accept that as fact, but then don't accept that Vegeta, who doesn't have Ultra Instinct, can also be stronger than Goku, who is utilizing the initial stage or the technique of the gods, that's just absolutely biased at that point, you know? So it's not difficult, it's not rocket science. This is just how Dragon Ball, especially Dragon Ball Super, has always been, and whether or not you accept it is not really going to change anything, you know? So that's just how I feel about that.
Now, what about the concept of them having to solely rely on teamwork? Is that something that you think that is going to be needed in this to take Moro down? Because Moro could easily just absorb more Genki and he could collectively get stronger, but what if Goku and Vegeta even fail then? Do you think that it would be pragmatic for that to happen in the manga, in a sense to where it creates tension, it creates a level of desperation, or do you think that it shouldn't be the right thing for them to do in allowing Moro to beat them, because it just really would drag things along and make their training seemingly look like nothing in their attempts to stop him?
That takes us back to the Buu arc, right? And to some extent to the Goku Black arc, where teamwork was required to take down a foe that one person alone cannot take down, right? So again, Vegeta is Vegeta, Goku is Goku, but they're significantly better when they work together, and this has just been proven time and time again, right? It's like the fight against Kid Buu. Yes, Goku did deliver the final blow with the Spirit Bomb, but he wasn't alone in doing that. You know, Mr. Satan helped, Vegeta helped, it was his idea, everybody on planet Earth helped, so on and so forth, right? King Yama's place, so on and so forth. So it was a teamwork effort. Everybody played a specific role, and the same thing can apply here. If Goku loses now, which he most likely will, and Vegeta comes in and he ends up losing, even though he performed better than Goku, that's fine. It just kind of makes this arc that much more exciting. You know, and I think we need more of that. We haven't had something like that in a while. The Goku Black arc was kind of, you know, the Zamasu arc was kind of like that, even for the manga, because they had Trunks come in, and instead of him like getting plot wanked to like no end, you know, he had more of like a supporting role where he learned to heal because he did train with the Kais, and that's true. He did in the beginning, right? You know, he did train with them, so it's only fair that he utilizes their techniques as well. It's at that point, it just really depends. Oh, if you're a fan of Trunks, oh, I like that Trunks didn't get the kill. He deserved the kill. It was his timeline, his world that got destroyed, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but he's never really been able to do anything by himself either. Same thing as Goku, right? Same thing as Vegeta to some extent as well. None of these people have ever been able to do anything by themselves. It's how you involve other characters and make them feel relevant, and it's how you enjoy Dragon Ball. It's how you enjoy anime and manga, essentially, right? If you just, like, people complain it's the Goku show, but it's not really the Goku show. You know, Goku has help. Trunks had help. Vegeta now has help. Well, he's always had help, right? If it wasn't for Goku and company being nice to him, he wouldn't even be alive right now. But at the same time, there would be no Goku without Vegeta either. Right, so essentially every character that we know has had some kind of pivotal role into developing everyone else around them. It's a fact. Yes, there are some characters in the series that we don't see much of anymore, but again, somewhere along the line, at least every arc, someone had their role. Someone had a specific role to fill. But again, it just really comes down to how you look at it, how you perceive it. I think people will just want Vegeta to just come in and win, and then that's it, right? They don't really care how he wins. They just want him to have the win. And I think that mindset is skewed. That's not it's not a healthy way of thinking, because Dragon Ball, for the most part, it really lacks creativity, right? But at the same time, you don't want people to just come on in, swoop on down, Goku loses, okay, here's Vegeta, you know, and he just wins, and he just beats Moro, all right, everybody have a nice day, you know? But you don't want that. You want some kind of action. You want some fight. You want to be able to see what Vegeta has learned, how this spirit control will affect him, and we've seen glimpses of it. And it's why I like that they're not showing us Vegeta's training in depth. The same thing for Goku versus MERUS, right? Where they only show his foot and the aura, and then we assumed and we pretty much confirmed, okay, he can go into UI Omen at will now. And for Vegeta, we just saw him use that little spirit gun thing, right? And he just, like, it was in his base form, and he couldn't even believe the amount of power that he unleashed. So if he doesn't even know what he's capable of yet, think of it like Ultimate Gohan when he first got that power up. You know, it was just insane. If Vegeta's gonna come in, I'm pretty sure he's gonna make people happy. Again, I just think people kind of, like, you know, need to go into this with zero expectations so that way they can actually enjoy it.
See, now, I definitely think that something's gotta give here, because I really doubt that Goku at Ultra Instinct Omen is going to be able to get the job done, and for some reason, I don't think Vegeta is either. I think that Vegeta is going to, like you said, neg his way out of this, and I can see him being immune to Moro's absorption. I can see Vegeta being immune to Moro's tactics, but at the same time, Moro seems to be more of a mystery than we originally assumed for him to be, and I truly also think that he's hiding something more, including the fact that we have 7-3, who's out in the distance somewhere in the background just waiting, buying his time until Moro deems it right for him to step in and use his own ability to also drain energy. So that's going to be something to consider here, but I really do want to see Vegeta get the victory over Moro. But at the same token, you're going to have so many people be angry in the fact that if it's not Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku, then what was the point of introducing this concept in the manga if it was just thrown to the wayside? And the same thing can be said about Vegeta. If Vegeta ends up losing and someone else gets the victory, then someone might say, well, okay, so what was the point of having Vegeta train so hard up until this point if he's also going to fail? So I want to get your thoughts and your opinions in the comment section below about Vegeta and Goku perhaps working together, and if you guys think that teamwork, collective teamwork, is going to be something that should be accepted, or if you guys simply prefer to have one party defeat Moro over the other. Again, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for your time. If, of course, you guys are new to the channel, then I do encourage you guys to smash that subscribe button, turn on all notifications, and be a part of the notification squad. Give this video a big thumbs up by slapping that like button down below, as well as also following Emosh's channel. His link will be located down in the description box as well. Thank you all once again. I appreciate you guys. Dragon Ball Super manga chapter number 60 is going to be out on May 20th. So wash your hands, take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you guys down in the comment section below. Have a great day, everybody. Peace. And a quick little reminder before you guys go, if you guys are unaware, I do have a second gaming channel located down in the description box below, so be sure to head on over to Unreal Royale and hit that subscribe button along with turning on all notifications, as to there, you guys will find all different kinds of gaming content that you will not get to find on UnrealEntGaming, titles and video games such as Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, Gears of War, Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, Dragon Ball Z Legends, Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, Minecraft, Blair Witch, and many other retro games on that channel. So if you guys are into gaming, then make sure you guys subscribe over on Unreal Royale. I want to thank you all so much for your time, and I'll catch you all in the next one.
This is the Galactic Emperor of the Universe, and of course I'm here to tell you to subscribe to UnrealEntGaming.
Also follow UnrealEntGaming on these social media platforms to stay connected at all times. And if you don't, then very soon you will all be dead! Oh, did someone say UnrealEntGaming? Oh my god.
The fuck's up, on? Put on some clothes!
Well, why don't you put on any clothes?
What? I don't need clothes. Jesus Christ, that's huge! What, Broly?
Freezer.
Uh-oh.
Prepare to die!
UnrealEntGaming, but once you get video, lots of likes, or Bill will turn you into chocolate! Vados, get over here! Tell these mortals that I'm the biggest UnrealEntGaming fan! This is my moment! I'm a part of his notification squad! Universe 7 can have all the fun! I just want the food!
And don't forget to leave a comment on this video! Show some love for the best community on YouTube!
Kakarota!